Okay, folks, we're back yet again with more round 7 action. This time, the final match between Trevor and Robert. Now, both these players are very close in the standings in terms of, well, one is third and one is fourth, but they each are playing for completely different things. So Trevor is hoping for a chance to skip myself and or Pat to get top 2 and guaranteeing him a spot in the semifinals. Otherwise, he's stuck in the quarters. But Rob, on the other hand, is right on the precipice. If he wins this, he guarantees himself 4th place and a spot in the quarterfinals. If he loses, he might very well drop down to like 7th or 8th place if everyone else wins properly. So, yeah. So if Rob's controlling his own destiny. He wins this match, he guarantees himself 4th place. Otherwise, he leaves it up to the fates. All right, giving the guys a go-go here. So, focusing on this match now. Thank you, Trevor. So Trevor is bringing a Paladin, Warlock, and Rogue. And Rob's bringing Rogue, Paladin, and Warrior. So, looks like we have a Rogue mirror matchup to start. This should be fun.
Watch your back. I will be your death.
And even if certain players don't necessarily win the match, points can matter as well. In Trevor's case, he pretty much just needs to win the match to get anything going here. But Rob, even if he loses the match, a couple of points could mean the difference between 6th place and 7th place, potentially, and thus getting the qualifier round 1 or 2 in the playoffs. So it's all about jockeying for position in the playoffs here. So, focusing on the game here, Rob he's got a lot of shiny cards for a Rogue. Kind of like it. So it's a very slow start for both. So plays a dagger and swings with it right away, implying to Trevor that he doesn't have any buffs in his hand. Trevor, on the other hand, did the opposite. He played a knife and now is playing Goblin Barber, and he's keeping the extra damage on the knife for later. Looking here, there's not a whole lot that Rob could backstab the Barber. Instead, he's going to swing face with it. That is interesting. Okay, he's going to swing face and shiv. Okay. Playing Rogue decks is very much your life is your main resource here, because you just keep using the trade all the time. Trevor here doesn't really have a great play. Does he opt to just drop the SI7? He does. And I do agree with that play. You'd rather have something on the board, do something that your opponent must react to. In this case, Rob does have the answer. Backstab SI7 or backstab Fan of Knives. Or just even dropping the Violet Teacher here. In fact, you can Violet Teacher, backstab, prep, and Fan of Knives. Prep is 2 less or 3 less? Can't remember. 3 less, yeah. So you can create himself quite the board here that Trevor would have a hard time dealing with. So here it is. Backstab, prep, and Fan of Knives.
I am ready to learn.
You can even throw the coin out if you really wanted to. I think it'd be a bit overkill though.
I am ready to learn.
Now that's a play. With 2 SI7s in hand, plus the coin still to trigger it. I like Rob's position here very much. I can play for Trevor here is Sledge Belcher, really. Rob's got a lot of answers in his hand, though. He could sap here if he really wanted to delay Trevor and just get more damage in. It looks like he's opting to do that. Gives him yet another Violet Apprentice. Alright, Rob's putting the pressure on. So 6 damage here, plus potentially 7 with the weapon. No, he's opting not to. He's going to save that. So again, for Trevor here, he could drop Sylvanas, which wouldn't be the worst thing. Belcher is still pretty good. It will absorb a lot of hits. Trevor's kind of praying for some form of board wipe here, because dealing with all those 1/1s is rather difficult. Antique heal bot, it's almost a necessity in rogue decks these days to have that heal bot. It's just too good for the healing. Alright, so more. Man, this thing gets out of hand fast.
This guy's toast.
Trevor's in a rough spot here. This rogue deck is going to town. Though Trevor does have another Belcher to work with, but it's kind of delaying things here. Oh, the backstab is key. He can finally finish off this Violet Teacher, which I would highly recommend he does. You backstab it, you eviscerate it, and you drop a Belcher. Alternatively, you could just drop Sylvanas, but it doesn't really kill anything and leaves you to a lot of damage here.
I wonder.
So what's Trevor going to do here? There's really not too many other plays he could do. He could eviscerate first, but to no end. It's a big waste of the damage it could do.
I wonder.
It's a very inefficient play, I must admit, but actually doesn't necessarily need to do the backstab. I just forgot. You can play Belcher, eviscerate, and just take it out with the knife. I probably like that bit better. The lower he's going in health, the better the Molten Giant will be as well. He's debating, though, and I don't blame him. I think I would keep the backstab to proc the second eviscerate. Oh, he's going to backstab that guy. Oh, no. Okay. Nice. He will do the eviscerate play. Oh, and he used the other eviscerate as well. So he's really just going to clear the board instead. I don't mind that, actually. And he's going to tap one of the 1/1s. Yeah, he will. Recharge the knife. Alright, so that's definitely a decent play. It will also help him get the Molten Giant out a little bit easier. Oh, Azure Drake. Spell damage in a rogue is just disgusting. If you want to be able to, if you want to see an example of that, watch my match versus Jamie. He had an incredible play there that involved spell damage as a rogue. Alright, so Trevor has another chance here, so with the +2 attack. So the 3 damage weapon. So there's a lot of potential damage coming Trevor's way, and he can't play many things, unfortunately. And no way to kill this. This is why maybe keeping the 1 eviscerate would have been better. The 3/3 is annoying, but it's not an Azure Drake. You could drop Molten and then Zombie Chow. Or Belcher and Zombie Chow. And recharge your knives. Yeah, so he'll proc that. Charge knives and drop Chow. Might as well. Needs to get more position back. But Blade Flurry here is pretty gross. It will almost kill everything on the board. In fact, yeah, he could get a complete board clear here, and he would trade this to finish off the Belcher and that to finish off the ooze. Or the slime. Yeah, so that will be the play. He actually could have dropped the other Azure Drake and they would have actually traded perfectly. Oh, he'll opt to use SI7 instead. Get his 4 damage in. Or 5 in this case. Trevor desperately needs a taunt or a heal. Or a taunt maker. I don't know if he has any in his deck. But this is a pretty rough go for Trev here. Black Knight does not help him. And I think that is it. Dropping the Sneeds for the lulz. Whack the face. Alright. No BM possibilities. Trevor just calls it game. 1-0 for Rob. Up to 19 points in the season. Alright, so Trev can choose from his Paladin or Warlock here. Now, his Paladin deck could put a lot of pressure early. It's very balanced. Don't know how much. Can't recall how much healing it had in it, but it certainly has its fair share of choices. Then there's the Warlock, which is kind of iffy with playing against a bursty deck like this Rogue deck is. So, not great options for Trevor, but we'll see what he's got. So he's choosing the Paladin. His solid go-to deck. If Priest is my main, Paladin is definitely Trevor's main.
I will fight with honor.
Alright, let's see what these guys got. Oh, Rob runs Trade Prince Gallywings. That could be interesting. Just the body on it alone is like a 5/8. Is actually pretty good stats. Don't even count the effect.
The pleasure is mine.
Well met.
Zombie Chow opener is solid. You can never ask for a better start, really, from decks that can't pull off the shenanigans of Defias Ringleaders and Mana Worms and whatnot. Alright, so Trevor's just gonna probably take his time here. Just hero power and go face.
Reporting for duty.
See, the hero power in a case against a rogue, I don't mind because you still have to deal with the 1/1s. I know you have Fan of Knives and stuff, but you can still, like, it costs you health to deal with the 1/1s as opposed to a mage, which just pings it and doesn't cost them anything other than the mana. So it's not a perfect counter to the hero power. You still pay for it in health. All right, looking at Trevor for his turn 3, he could coin out a piloted shredder, which I don't mind. The muster play is not great, obviously, because we know that he has a Fan of Knives, but Trevor will opt for it anyway. Pretty much forcing a Fan of Knives play from Rob here. But he could pull that disgusting combo again, where it's the Violet Teacher prep Fan of Knives.
Class.
Oh, he'll throw a backstab too. Nice.
I am ready to learn.
Trevor's not going to be super happy with this.
I am ready to learn. I am ready to learn.
Wow. Alright, well, Trevor's just gonna get the Belcher out. Yeah, don't mind that play. Another prep, oh my. Drake, backstab.
I am ready
Getting
to
all those free 1/1s. That Violet Teacher is pulling its weight this match. Alright, so now the Violet Teacher is killable. Trevor does have the True Silver Champion to get that started, and I would pretty much guarantee that's what he's going to do. Yeah, that's definitely the play. Kill that thing off, get it out of the way. Slow Rob right down in terms of the pressure he can build on the board. You'll take 5 damage from what's on the board, but he's nowhere near death. He's got the time to play. Yeah, he does kill the Violet Teacher, which is a perfect play, in my opinion. Alright, the Azure Drake will be his next target, I'm sure. So Rob could prep Sprint here, which wouldn't be the worst thing, but he could just play it regularly next turn. He's probably figuring what Trev's plays are here, so he could do it now though. I guess it wouldn't be the worst thing. But I think prep is probably better to save it for a more clutch situation than that. Alright, Bolvar here is not terribly late, so he'll still have a role to play. Trev clears that, and he'll drop a couple of mechs here, the Shredder and the Minibot. Alright, Sap. Sap will be useful later for sure. For something like Bolvar, oh, that'd be rough. Fan of Knives here would be useful. You could kill the Shredder off. You can backstab. Oh no, he doesn't have backstab anymore. My apologies. He already used it. There's a couple ways to deal with this board, but it's hard to get rid of it completely. I don't think Rob can do that. You could sap one, but it's not super worth when it comes to these minions. Something like Sylvanas is good because it delays it. You basically effectively make Sylvanas cost 12 mana over 2 turns. Alright, so he's going to opt to do that. Fan of Knives and just trade probably. Ooh, draws a deadly poison, but he already swung with his weapon, so.
This guy's toast.
Oh, it gets the 1/1, brutal. Alright, Bolvar's up to 3, still not worth. I think Dr. Boom here is probably the play. Boom or Sylvanas, I think Boom is just too good.
I have no time.
Oh, he's opting for Sylvanas, okay. It's never really a bad time to play Sylvanas, but Bolvar is slowly growing in strength. I think sap happens here. Or he just... Oh, he sprints. Wow. Ooh, the Assassin's Blade. And Blood... Oh, wow. This hand is disgusting. Trevor needs to get a lot of value here. Yeah, so he'll play Dr. Boom. He'll probably kill this off with Sylvanas. Then Sylvanas is easy pickings. Did you get another sap through these draws? It's hard to tell. Okay, he still has the original sap in his hand. He's up to 10 cards though, so he has to make some plays. But I'm sure he'll do something here. The Blade Fury play could be very real here. And he could sap Boom, but I don't love sapping Boom personally. Alright, so Blade Flurry here. He can drop Thalnos to no end, really. Because Sylvanas will take it. He will Eviscerate first. So he will clear the full board here. And Bolvar is going to get massive, but sap still is a play, unfortunately. Good to not waste the 3 damage. And even more damage. 2 bombs to the face, though. They could be hurt. They could hurt. 7 damage. Alright, so Trev gets an equality, not what he needs here. Alright, this rogue deck has proven to be quite annoying for Trevor here. So sap here is too perfect, honestly. I think you just lose the benefit here totally. Actually, I'm not sure if you lose the ability here from sap, but Rob's just saying, screw it. I can out DPS you. In fact, he has lethal, so never mind.
Well played.
This rogue deck is so bursty. So Trevor's down to his Warlock. Now the interesting play here, guys, is... Yes, Trevor, you are in trouble here. So the interesting play here is that Trevor could claim Retribution to try to get his points, to basically have a second crack at it if he loses here. And considering it's a handlock deck, it's going to be rough. But let's see what happens. Trevor could... Handlock is so potent that I wouldn't doubt it being able to come back all the way.
Watch your back.
Your soul shall be mine.
Alright. So here we go. So can Rob secure 4th place? He just needs one more victory. He's got 3 shots at it. Alright, so Trevor's got his handlock, and he has a nice little variance on the normal handlock where he actually has a few of the early game cards to play. So he's not necessarily useless in the early game like most handlocks tend to be. So he's got this to put a little bit of pressure on. So here we got a couple taunt givers, which is pretty good. So SI7 agent will drop down and deal damage to the face. So Rob knows the game. Just rush the Warlock down. Trev here, unfortunately, doesn't have much of a play. Ah, Mortal Coil. Now that's a play. That was an amazing top deck for Trevor. Otherwise, he was in for a lot of damage over the next turn or two. And he draws into a Twilight Drake, which is an excellent 4th turn drop next for the following turn. On Rob's side, he doesn't have much of a play here. He could knife up. You could shift to draw, or you can knife up and maybe put a Deadly Poison on it. Because he doesn't have... Though he might want to wait to get the more cheaper spells with the Violet Teacher out. Alright, so thinking of Deadly Poison, yeah. So he'll charge up the weapon here. Probably hang on to it. Yeah, he does. Alright, so Trev has the Twilight Drake play. Draws Jaraxxus, which is always fun for later. Speaking of cards for later, Sprint on the Rob side of things. So, Violet Teacher here. Unfortunately, no other place to work with. Now, Trevor knows what the power of that card is, so I'm willing to bet Trevor does what he can to kill that thing. I think Argus here to force the kill on the... I would probably be willing to do... Or even Lothep. Because Lothep is going to ruin any spells being played. Lothep is actually amazing here. Yeah, there you go. Spells will not be played this turn. Guaranteed. So, essentially nullifies the Violet Teacher of any use, other than being a weak Yeti this one turn. And Lothep will do his job, just trading with... Will trade with from the weapon in this, I guess. There's no other play. Rob literally has no other plays. He can swing with a weapon, and that's it. Lothep was a clutch play here. Did exactly his job. Alright, well, turn 6 play for Trev. Could definitely life tap here. He has an anti-heal bot to play with. Oh, faceless. Hello. Putting the pressure on the rogue. Tables have turned. Southie deckhand is handy. But how do you deal with these two suckers? With trade Prince Gallywix, apparently.
Hey, pal, Trade Prince Gallywix here.
Alright, so what does Trevor do to deal with that? Clearly not using any spells. He could just throw both Drakes into it, to be honest. Wouldn't be the worst thing ever. Ooh. Defender of Argus and go face? Yeah, he's just saying, screw it. Your Gallywix doesn't do anything unless they play spells. Down to 7 health already for the rogue with no healing in sight. Sprint doesn't give him any answers because he can't play anything afterwards. I think Trevor got him. Handlock pulling through for Trevor here. Unless Rob could shiv, I guess, to try to draw a card. Drawing a heal bot would keep him alive. He has 2 shivs, so he has he has 1 chance to draw a heal bot and still play it. Fan of Knives doesn't do it. Rob hates Handlock. We were having a discussion before this cast started about decks that people hated. I told them that Trevor hates Control Warrior. He hated Handlock. Draws an Assassin's Blade. It's not what he needed. Will prep. Get a Tinker. So he will power that up. But unfortunately, still not enough. It could still be enough, actually, depending what he draws here. Sap, can't play it, though. Sap would have been something that would have helped him earlier, but he just doesn't have... Just doesn't have the DPS, or the health, sorry, to do that, so... Not enough mana, not enough time. Handlock takes it for Trevor. So, Trev cannot claim Retribution, so he must go the full distance now. He has to win the next 2 games. So Handlock is the deck to beat, and Rob can bring a Paladin or a Warrior to do so. I think Paladin has a great chance to do it, in my opinion. Paladin with the quality Consecrate plays, and the qualities, just the equality in general. 2 qualities are very key cards to play against in such a match. Alright, so we know Trevor's deck, roughly. We haven't seen much of it, but we'll see what Rob can do here. So he chooses Paladin. Alright, that's what I thought he would do. So if he loses against this, it's Control Warrior to finish things off. And Handlock Control Warrior is literally a toss-up, so... We'll see what happens in this deck here. He has the Elder Peacekeeper, which is amazing. Black Knight can also be very good here.
Well met.
Trevor's starting hand is actually not bad. Has the Mountain Giant already. Ancient Watcher. Mini-Bot, an amazing top deck for Robert here for turn 2 play. If I'm Trevor here, you could burn Coil to finish this off, or you just pop the shield and let him deal with it. But then again, with Muster for battle next turn, it's not necessary. And you just ignore it too. He's opting to ignore it. Ooh. Muster for battle clears the board now, but you could save it for a Knife Juggler play. This is not that big of a threat on the board. Mind you, this asserts your board position a little bit better. And so he does. Alright, so Zombie Chow's negated. Up to full health. Trev could coin a Azure Drake here. But he opts to use Mortal Coil instead. And Trevor's hand is 8, so he doesn't necessarily have to play anything this turn. He could even tap. Yeah, he will tap. Okay, it's up to 9 cards now. Draws Faceless. Alright, so it gives him a fairly cheap Mountain Giant option next turn or Azure Drake.
Put this apple on your head.
So Travis desperately would like a Hellfire. Hellfire here would be probably almost a game, I'd say. At least in this early going here. So without that, Trevor's going to be taking a lot of damage, and so he is. Gets another coil, which will be handy. So he'll coil 1, hopefully get something he needs here. Gets an owl, not quite what he wants, but the owl could be useful for the giant. Because if it gets Aldored, you can just silence it. Alright, so Rob here is probably going to just go face, face, face. Drop the Aldor Peacekeeper and just go to town. Trevor needs a Taunt Maker, or he needs... He doesn't have the heal bot, actually, so... So now this is acting like a big sponge for knives, hopefully. Yeah, there it is. So you actually could finish it off relatively easily. It is dangerous to get a hand lock down to the 10 to 15 life range, given cheap Molten Giants. It's hard to recover from that sometimes, so he'll opt to kill it instead. Which I like that. I kind of like that a bit better than just going face. So once again, Trevor's looking for a board wipe. He doesn't get it. Can't life tap here. No Taunt Makers, and no... He has a Dark Bomb. I would be tempted to Dark Bomb the Knife Juggler here. He'll drop Ancient Watcher. He's counting his cards. You can't tap yet, unfortunately. You could just drop the Twilight Drake here too. I think I prefer just dropping Twilight. Yeah. Twilight, coin, Dark Bomb. Goodbye, Knife Juggler. Alright, so that piece of a crazy combo is gone. MC Tech will not likely be useful against Handlock. They don't generally play too many minions, but later on, if Jiraxis comes into play, it could be a backbreaker. Again, Trevor would just love an AoE of any kind. Shadow Flame even works here. He has enough mana to do Shadow Flame, Ancient Watcher. He needs anything. Rob is sitting very pretty here. I think he just goes for it, and that's what he's doing. Yeah, you got a 410, but I got a lot of little minions here that you can't deal with right now, so... And he knows it too. He knows that if Trev had any AoE whatsoever, he would have used it. So Rob is just going face. And Trevor's down to 6. Oh, Sun Fury Protector, you are a godsend. But what does Trevor do here? I think you drop the heal bot. Or do you just risk making 2 taunts and just going for it? Black Knight is in play here. And Trevor's in a rough spot. I think the heal bot here is the best play. You go back right up to 14, and there's only 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There is 13 damage on the board. There's no good play for Trevor here. You must risk making the taunts, I guess. He doesn't have enough mana. Alright, so there's 3 less damage from what I... So there's 11 damage on the board now. So 3 damage away from lethal. The quality here is useful, but not necessary. Rob's only got 1 more swing with the sword, so... Oh, Dr. Boom is deadly here. Trev does have the big game hunter here, but the boombots will still be annoying. The boombots could spell death for him as well. Only gets 1 bomb, actually. That's kind of a mistake. Yeah, Rob sees that. Very lucky break for Trevor there. So Rob's going to be on cleanup duty here. So at least clear 1 minion and just keep going face. So Trev will be down to 8 health. Alright, so... Oh, Molten Giant here is wonderful. So you might as well drop that. Again, no AoE for Trevor. That's been his Achilles heel this game. He will siphon soul for the health, which I kind of agree with here. And once again, there's not enough damage on the board to be lethal. Lotheb here. Not a bad... Okay, so he will drop the equality here to finish the board off. I wonder if he uses the boom bot for one of the hits. I'd be willing to keep the boom bot in play. Yeah, Trev, you could have BGH'd, but the health, he would have been one off lethal here. So, oh, he's one turn away from playing Jiraxis too. So what can Trevor do here? He can taunt up. He's got 2, 2, and then 5. No, that's not enough. He doesn't have enough mana for that. Trev's in a rough spot here. He could life tap. He might have to life tap here to, but I don't know what he gets. He needs to make some taunts, but I don't. With Black Knight in hand, I think Trevor's done for. Dr. Boom doesn't help him. It's not enough mana. He needs one turn.
So many possibilities.
He'll go for the taunt play here, but as we can see from our vantage point here, I think Trevor is finished. Alright, well, seeing what we see, guys, looks like Rob is going to guarantee himself a 4th place finish in the first season here. Giving himself the quarterfinal berth. Black Knight kills the taunted Lotheb. Trevor goes down 3 games to 1. His win streak finally ends. He went 5 straight match wins, loses in the last round 7, finishes the season with 5 victories and 2 losses. Robert finishes with 4 wins and 3 losses. And I think those 2 or 3 losses started in the first early rounds of the season, so congratulations, Rob. So Rob is now guaranteed his 4th place, and Trevor has guaranteed himself a 3rd place finish as well. I don't think anyone... Yeah, with his 1 point, he doesn't catch up to me. So, good game. And the only thing left in the top 3 to figure out is if Pat gets 1 match win or not. Or 1 game win. He gets 1 game win, he guarantees himself 1st place. So, we'll see what happens with that. He'll likely get it, but you never know. There's stranger things have happened in this season so far. We hope you guys enjoyed that, and we will see what happens with the rest of the matches coming up real soon.